You ready to let the dogs out?
What?
Do what?
Hey, yo. You already know what the business is. Check it out.
To go down.
All right. Yeah. And now rocking with
The Carter.
And we are back on your airwaves right now. This is the Carter Morning Show. Your boy Travis James here on the LEG Radio Network. Now I have some special guests in the building right now. We have a rap duo from Montgomery, Alabama. These guys are doing it big down there. I'd like to welcome and introduce to you all Grateful Saints of God. Grateful Saints of God. What's going on, fellas?
Hey, we good. What's up? How y'all doing?
Good, man.
We doing good over here. It's a little cloudy outside. I'm out here trying to get a tan because y'all know I'm slight albino. But for all our listeners out there that don't really know who you guys are or what you do, tell them a little bit about yourselves.
Hey, as Grateful Saints of God, it consists of me, myself, David, and Ladarius. We gospel rappers, man, and our mission is to seek and save the lost through our music. So that's really really the foundation of everything we do. And so, music to reach people, man, who may not go to church or may not have anything to do with ministry. We want to reach those people. So with our music.
Amen. That's what's up. Now, for all our listeners out there that, like I said, aren't familiar with you guys do have a new project coming out.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's called World Travelers Part 3. And World Traveler Part 3 consists of 15 tracks. Me, myself, and Ladarius, we co-wrote with each other on the project. The name World Traveler comes from, it's really like a symbolic meaning of the gospel, because the gospel was considered a world traveler because it made its way all around the globe. So that's what we want to, that's our mission with our music. So that's why we named it World Traveler. 15 songs on it also.
And y'all said this is part 3, World Travelers Part 3.
Yeah,
World Traveler Part 3.
So this is your third installation in this series. So y'all like veterans in this gospel rap game, right?
I wouldn't consider ourselves veterans. We kind of experienced. We got, through the grace of God, we've gotten experience in what we're doing. The music we have gotten to the point where we have went high in our music. And the first two projects, they were mixtape, and this project right here is like the final mixtape project before we start putting out working on our new albums. And we don't have a release date on that, but we're gonna call the album the God album.
Wow.
Like I think part 1 of the World Traveler Part 1, we was just kind of getting our feet in the dope. Part 2, I guess it was kind of a little better than part 1, but part 3, it's kind of on another level. We kind of found our identity, just taking the gospel to the streets, getting it on rough,
Man, that's huge right there. So you guys find your identity, was it musically or spiritually, or was you finding yourself as a man or a man of God, child of God? Where did you find your identity at?
We found our identity. I say identity musical, everything came together. Our production came together. Our beats came together. So, and our lyrics kind of came together. So it's musical, not spiritual.
Definitely, I got you. Now, you guys have a big following and a big fan base down there in the Gump, Montgomery, Alabama. Now, you guys do a lot of community work and a lot of things, so a lot of people know you down there. But for those that don't know you or aren't familiar with your music, what can they expect from World Travelers Part 3?
We kind of took a view on music and the art of music. We think, because we're children of the hip hop generation, 80s baby. So we kind of took a view on music and see what music is today and where it has come from. It kind of lost that musical vibe to it, and it's more about just partying and a whole bunch of other stuff. It's not just music anymore, and the whole musical sound like in the early 90s. So now with our music, what we want to do, we want to kind of bridge that gap in music from where it used to be and where it is now. So wow. you'll get you get a modern sound, but you have that old school music vibe to it also.
I said kind of we kind of bringing real music in the gospel form, we got songs talking about our everyday struggles, talk about our struggles as a Christian. It's just like what they rap about song. We just kind of like taking a bold stand against the world of hip hop, like what they putting out there today.
And for the listeners that don't know, what they rap about is you guys' new single. Now, where did you guys draw inspiration for this new song? Because it's different than a lot of the other ones we've heard.
Like what they rap about, like really, I don't really know where did I really get the inspiration from, but like on World Scholar Part 1, I guess God always gave us the vision, like we got to stand up boldly against hip hop. Because at one time we was out there in the street kind of embracing hip hop. So God always gave us the vision, like to go at this hip hop, like to go at world of hip hop, like with the word of God, like so. That we really get the inspiration for, like just to stand up.
Definitely. Well, since we're talking about it, let's go ahead and give the listeners a world exclusive, world premiere of your new single, What They Rap About. So right here, you're tuned into the Carter Morning Show. I'm Travis James. These are Grateful Saints of God, and this is their new single, What They Rap About. And we are back on the Carter Morning Show. That was Grateful Saints of God, What They Rap About. We still got them here on the line. And man, what they rap about. Ugh. Now, I'm listening to that single, and when I first heard it, man, I was surprised. Honestly. I know you guys. I've known you guys for a while. I've actually had the privilege and honor to share a stage with you guys when I've come down to Alabama. And so I followed your music for a while. And I think the thing that stands out with this single is I hear a lot of growth. I hear a lot of maturity. And it's not to say that you guys didn't make mature music before, but I can hear the growth sonically. And you guys really have a great single right here. I think this is really going to impact the masses. I really feel like this is going to really dig into the culture. And I just want to give props to you guys, man. You guys have really grown from each mixtape to mixtape, and it's evident in your sound.
Yeah, I guess the maturity from my view of it is we've had on this project, me and Ladarius we've always came together when it came to doing music and wrote a lot of songs. But on this project, we had the opportunity to work with a producer, engineer. His name is Val, out of Montgomery, Alabama. And Val has worked with some guys in the industry. One of the most notable guys was T.I., and he worked on a song with T.I. and Jay-Z. And Val kind of like getting in the studio with him, kind of like helped elevate what we've done over the time, because it gave us a different view of looking at music and how we should record it and go about doing it. So, and that in itself, and working with a producer, a beat maker, his name is Crown J. He's out of Montgomery also, and he did the beat for the track. And when we heard it, Ladarius had already pre-wrote the hook for the song, so he got a beat made for the song. And when we did, it just all came together through the grace of God.
Man, that's so dope right there. So back to this single. Where can our listeners find it? Where can they download it? Where can they buy it? Let them know.
You can find the single. It's on SoundCloud under Grateful Saints of God. You can find it there. We have a Facebook page also entitled Grateful Saints of God. You can go on there and check it out. You can check it out on
Reverb Nation / Grateful Saints of God. And also Facebook.com / Grateful Saints of God.
Definitely. Well, all my listeners, go cop that new single, What They Rap About, Grateful Saints of God. Now I want to rewind a little bit. I heard you guys talk about this earlier, and a lot of cats in this industry, a lot of rappers argue about this hot button issue. I heard you say you guys are waging war against hip hop. What exactly does that mean? Because I know a lot of people argue about it, but how are you waging war against hip hop, and why?
Like, it's really not like a hip hop diss, but we really just standing up like strongly, like against what hip hop like representing, like, cause like hip hop they talk about money, like they embracing money, cars, clothes, sex, and drugs and stuff like that. And we got like little cousins and stuff. And we kind of like see firsthand what like hip hop music do in our community. Like it kind of really like motivates people with false hope. It's kind of like destroy people's lives in a way. So the devil uses it as a tool like to motivate people. and deceive people. So that's the reason we kind of like do this, like for like really, like we let them know like they can do music for God. I mean, you still like, you know what I'm saying, be cooler with her and still make good music at the same time. So you ain't really got to come, you ain't got to talk about drugs and busting your gun and killing people with music. So.
But are we really waging war against the culture? Because I don't think hip hop culture is the issue. I think it's the people, that the artists and the fashion designers and the television that is really making hip hop culture look bad. Because hip hop culture, of course, isn't just music. It's a style. It's a way of living. It's a vernacular. It's how we talk. It's deeper than just music. And being that we were all born in the 80s and we got to see a lot of the height in the beginning of hip hop culture, you know, hip hop music wasn't about degrading women. Hip hop as a style wasn't about wearing feminine clothing or women revealing themselves, because TLC wore baggy clothes. They were covered up. You know, hip hop music was about having a voice, and that's changed. So it's more of the culture has been tainted and given a bad image. So are we waging war against the culture or the people? Because I think it's the people.
I think it's the music, it's what they saying, like it's the words they speaking that contrary to the word of God.
Yeah, it's the culture in itself, like you said, the culture in itself is like, it's more than just music. It was more having a voice and more of unity and coming together to in the beginning to start this, like to motivate other individuals in low and poverty areas to use their gifts and talents, you know, to help their community. That's like, you look at the origin of it. But now, in secular music, it's taken a turn, and now it's all about money, cars, soul, sex, drugs, you know, and degrading women. And that in itself, we have a problem with it. So that's where the song, the inspiration for the song, what they rap about, came from. You know, we want to give them another side of what they're saying. Like there's something completely contrary to what you're saying that we believe, and we want to share it with you guys.
Definitely. I mean, I can agree with that. I just feel like hip hop culture gets a bad rap, because it's like at this point in time, like we see hip hop culture, and that's not what it was built on. Because, you know, I grew up. My parents grew up, you know, we had Dougie Fresh, we had Public Enemy, and even though I was a baby, I remember the songs, and they stood for what hip hop was about. And now, you know, you don't see that anymore. Now it's the opposite, and I feel like as Christian artists, it's our duty. It is our duty to go into hip hop culture and clean it up and make it what it's supposed to be about.
Like I said in that song, like what they rap about, I was like, listen, hip hop dead. Even Nas said hip hop dead. Like the hip hop culture, what it was back in the day, that's kind of like dead now. They kind of replaced that with what they call like trap music, like thug music and stuff like that, like selling drugs and stuff like that. So the art of hip hop really kind of dead now. So all thing you got to do is now just kind of like sell drugs and rap about your life. You kind of like go platinum. So they would really sell it. Like that would be keep promoting now. Like.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Let me ask you guys this. Who are your biggest influences musically? Like, who really influenced who you are as an artist now?
My biggest... Darius, who's the biggest influence in music? I know I have my own view, but what's yours, bro?
Like, to be honest, my biggest influence from music is really that come from the Christian raps. So my biggest influence music, because I was doing music before I started like doing Christian rap. So my biggest influence in rap is kind of like I say it was really Tupac. It came from the word.
Yeah. And mine in itself is probably I would say probably Jay-Z and Tupac somewhere in there, because I started off on Tupac, and as Tupac died in the 90s, you know, Jay-Z kind of like filled that place. So that was kind of like the two artists that I kind of like listened to, and I cling to their music.
Okay. Do you guys still listen to those artists now?
Nah, not at all.
So How do you feel about the whole, since you did listen to Jay-Z, how do you feel about this whole Illuminati ordeal or thing? You know, because we hear a lot of conspiracy theorists. They talk about Jay-Z's an Illuminati, Kanye's an Illuminati, Beyonce's an Illuminati. They even said Lecrae was an Illuminati. It's like any black person, any African American that has some sort of success is an Illuminati. I mean, do you guys believe in the conspiracy theorists? Do you guys think that, you know, these people are worshiping the devil? Or how do you guys feel about that? Is it something you really even pay attention to or anything of the sort, or do you just let it go?
I feel like when you talk about the art of deception, and we talk about, you know, as Christian men, how we look at our view biblically in the Bible. We look at how the devil in itself, you know, how he was a part of God's army, and you know how he turned his back on God and was kicked out, you know, and him like in itself, him being like the one who's the art of deception. I believe personally, if he's really that deceiving and what he goes about doing, I think it's a lot deeper than the Illuminati. If it's something, you know, the Illuminati can be a cult or whatever what they doing, you know, like me personally, I believe that there's hope for him, you know, and I want to share Jesus Christ with him because he is hope, you know, even in there, even because anything they're doing outside of Christ is in their own ignorance. So I don't doubt that the Illuminati exists, but you know, I don't really focus a lot on it because I want to share. I'm so busy, I'm so wrapped up in sharing hope with them, you know.
Right. So I really don't get like caught up in the Illuminati. I just know what they're doing is kind of like contrary to the word of God. You know?
Yeah.
But I just leave it at that. That's how I kind of judge it, like to the word of God.
Definitely. Now, since we're on the topic of Lecrae, and we brought up Lecrae, you know, Lecrae just had the #1 album in the country, you know, and as of right now, he sold over 145,000 copies of Anomaly. Now, as an independent artist, how does that change, or how does that change your view in terms of marketing your product to the masses? Because remember, before, Christian artists weren't getting any love. You know, you would never see us in magazines. You would never see us on websites. You wouldn't see us on TV. Now Lecrae's on Jimmy Fallon Late Night. He's on billboards in Times Square. He's on the side of buses. You know, so how does that change your view of the industry and how the industry receives Christian artists? Not even just Christian artists, but more specifically Christian rap artists. Do you feel like it has opened the door, and has it changed how you view the attention that the masses will give us?
Most definitely. I think it's kind of open, but how they help us with our marketing stuff, our marketing strategy. I like what Lecrae doing. I like his marketing strategy and stuff like that. But at the same time, we want to stay true to who we are. Like, we ain't just like gonna just try to like do a song with a secular artist just to get it like on BET, or just try to get the BET. BET really ain't our focus. Like, if we get there, it's cool, but so we just kind of like just stick to the basics, like just keep it all about Jesus. Like.
My take on it is that is for marketing. It's a great thing that, you know, any Christian artist has the opportunity to share the message of salvation with them through music or whatever, and the world accepts it. But I think at the same extent, no matter how great the music is, at a certain level, they won't accept it if the message is too bold. It's too bold and too upfront and too controversial. They kind of like reject that part of it.
Now, as artists, you know, as Christian artists, we know that everyone's not called to the forefront or to be on the front lines or be in the spotlight. But as independent artists, if you were thrust into that spotlight, if you were in the position of crazy, let's just say what they rap about becomes that next big single and everybody jumps on it, and you got companies offering you this money or this contract, this endorsement, this contract, and the doors just open for you guys to be thrust into the spotlight and in the forefront, so forth and so on. How would you guys handle that? I mean, you know, some Christian rappers, they say, you know, I don't want to be in the spotlight because it takes the focus off God. You know, I'm not trying to be famous. I just want to minister and, you know, God first in everything we do. But what if you are given that platform? What if you are put into that arena where your ministry is to the forefront, your music is to the forefront, and thousands and hundreds of thousands of people are open to it?
Me personally, that like I think the bigger the platform, the more people you can reach. The more people you can reach with the message of salvation. But the platform, that's all cool, and having money or the selling records or doing whatever you do in music, when you're prosperous like that, I think that only gives you an opportunity to give back and help more people around you, because we know, because me and Ladarius know personally from a lot of areas that we travel in, and there's a great need, man, for help in those areas with food and with homes and stuff. So whatever we do, we more focused on helping other people and giving back to them. And just as far as just dealing with it, I believe personally that through the grace of God, there ain't nothing we can't do, because I know in the end that really money can't buy me eternal salvation. So it's like money's only good for helping people while we're here, and anything beyond that, it has no value.
So therefore, like, basically, when you kind of like sign a record deal, it kind of like you really kind of like selling yourself to the label. You really can't get focused completely on going in the poverty-stricken area, like doing ministry work. You really got to go whatever they book you once you sign that line. So you really belong to that record label till your contract ends. So I want to be financially stable. I want to be able to just to take the gospel to the streets. At the same time, I might not never be on the Lecrae level, but I just want to have enough money to just be able to do it independently, and just go where I want to, wherever God want me to go.
And I think that's the big thing with Lecrae and Reach Records. I mean, even though Reach Records does have the distribution deal through Sony Red, which allows them to get their product in stores, and obviously gives them a bigger budget in terms of marketing, they still have retained their independency. I remember Rock Nation and Jay-Z at one point were trying to sign Lecrae, just him as an individual artist, and he said no. And I think that's really allowed him to stay true, for the most part, to his music. Now, what do you guys feel? I mean, a lot of Christian artists, a lot of Christians, there's a big controversy. People are saying that Lecrae is compromising, and people feel like once you obtain that type of success, you must be compromising. I mean, do you feel the message is watered down? Because personally, I feel like his music has evolved. It's grown sonically. His skills have gotten better, and it's great music. So what do you guys feel? Is he compromising?
I think personally, I think Lecrae has a lot of pressure on him. A lot of pressure to do because Lecrae is kind of like a voice for all gospel rappers, because he has a platform that nobody else in gospel rap has. And the latest record sales, they show his platform that he has, and hey man, who would ever thought that a Christian rapper, or whatever you want to call Lecrae, would be number one in the opening week, for record sales,
Right.
And so that's kind of like big for us. And we're fans of Lecrae's music. Me personally, I am.
Right.
I was just great nothing but the best. But at the same time, though, we have to. There's a war going on. We know that there's a war spiritually going on. So, and we have to all together in unity take a bold stand against the world just in general and what we're doing. Because I can't say Lecrae's completely compromising in what he's doing. I think Lecrae has taken a different approach to try to reach a broader audience.
Right. And I think his music more industry now. Like when he first came out, like the Rebel and stuff like that, the Rehab, I think it's kind of like, it was just like more Jesus, like preaching Jesus to you. But now it's kind of like more industry. Like.
Definitely. I feel you. Well, this is the Carter Morning Show. This is your boy Travis James. We got Grateful Saints of God right here. Well, fellas, let me ask you this. I've talked to you. I know people in Montgomery. I've read what you guys do. I've seen the videos. But for our listening audience, let them know what it is, this big movement you guys are doing down there.
Yeah, we have a movement that's starting. Me and myself and Ladarius, we are grateful for God, and we're working, we're doing some legal work and everything to get our labels stamped, and have that and to go forward with that, because we're independent artists. But it's a movement going on that we are a part of called the Flatline Ministry.
Yeah, Flatline
Ministry. Yeah, ministry, and we're part of that also. And this movement that we're a part of is kind of like has given me and Ladarius another opportunity to do a lot more and a lot more music and traveling and stuff. So it's crazy how this movement is coming together, how fast it's growing, because this movement has actually had the opportunity to go into schools and to deal with troubled kids in school and stuff. So that's a blessing in itself, to deal with kids who one day that they were like me and Ladarius were one day in our life.
So Flatline movement, it's basically like a movement. Like it consists of like gospel rap artists. It consists of like DJs, like graphic design artists, like gospel singers, preachers. Like we all just come together for one purpose, like just to serve our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, like just be the body, man.
That's major, fellas. That's major. Well, let me ask you this. Who started this movement? Who had the initial vision to bring you guys together?
It came, Dwayne, you felt the Dwayne Rimmer. He had the vision with the move. So he the one kind of like started it.
And you pastor Dwayne Rimmer, he's from Montgomery. He's originally from the same, me and myself and Ladarius hometown in Linden, Alabama. But his movement is ran from Montgomery, Alabama now.
That sounds good, fellas. That sounds good. Now, we're actually going to have Minister Dwayne Rembrandt on later this week, as well as another Flatline member who we actually had on tomorrow, Rockstar JT. They'll be joining us. But tell our listeners what's going on down there in Montgomery, Alabama, because I've talked to Dwayne, I've talked to Rockstar JT, and they've expressed to me a lot of the crime and things that are going on. But let our listeners know what is going on down there, what Flatline is doing, and how they can support this movement and support the change that you guys are trying to bring.
What's going on in Alabama currently? If you look at a city like Montgomery and Birmingham, they have some of the highest crime rates. People have the opportunity to see on First 48 killing, murders and stuff that take place in Birmingham, Alabama, and in Montgomery too. Really, drugs has destroyed a lot of cities in Birmingham and Montgomery. So to be proactive in that, we kind of like taking a stand and kind of hitting the streets to help and reach as many kids as possible to show them that that road that they're traveling, that ends in destruction, and try to keep them away from that.
I feel you on that. Keep them out of that. Keep them out of that. Well, tell our listeners, what kind of events do you do or do you have coming up? Because I know you guys do a lot, but everybody might not know. So go ahead and fill them in.
Like July 11, we just had this big event at the Renaissance downtown Montgomery. It was like the Cross Pit. Like the Cross Pit was like consist of a whole bunch of like gospel artists, like gospel rap artists, had like motivational speakers. That was kind of like the introduction to the Flatline movement. That was like the first big event Flatline movement did. So, and also, I think Sunday we just did this like kind of like a community block party. Like when we just going out reaching, we like going in the schools, but. And also, we got coming up, I think, October the 25th, we got the breakfast like mixtape release for the World Charlotte Part 3. So
yeah, and also we've been, me and myself and Ladarius just as grateful, thanks to God. We've been traveling. Like we had the opportunity to travel like to Texas, to Houston, and do an event in San Antonio, and in November we're going to LA. So
definitely, man. Y'all really are world travelers. I mean, y'all going to LA, y'all going to Texas. I mean, y'all might be going to Canada. I don't know. But you guys really are doing what we're supposed to do. You guys are going out, spreading the Great Commission. You guys are really making an impact because, this is deeper than music. This isn't just about making a song and putting it out. We're supposed to impact lives. And you guys really do that. And shout out to Flatline, man. Shout out to Minister Dwayne. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to Rockstar JT, L. Scott, man. I'm probably forgetting somebody. But just shout out to the whole movement you guys got going on there. Now, I just want to know if you guys can just let our listeners know where that mixtape release party is going to be.
The mixtape release party is going to be in Demopolis, Alabama. It's going to be October the 25th. We're gonna release the album with 15 tracks on it, and you'll be able to go online and download it for free. But also, you can hit me and Ladarius up at our emails. I'll let Ladarius give you his. And my email is davidkeller2004@gmail.com, or you can hit us up at gratefulsaintsofgod@gmail.com, and you can get us there, man. If you need a copy of our mixtape, we'll actually send it to you. And I'll let Ladarius give you his email address.
My email address is m.overdose@yahoo.com. But if you want a copy of the mixtape, you can just go to our Facebook page. We had that. They're gonna be on thattips.com. We had a link attached to our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/Grateful Saints of God.
That's what's up. Go out and support these, man. Good music. Grateful Saints of God. World Travelers Part 3. Support good music. Support your own. Now, fellas, do y'all have anything else y'all want to add before we let y'all go? Anything you want to say to the listeners?
Man, I want to shout out the whole Flatline, man. Shout out to that girl, man, Miss Corn. Shout out to Bentley Tyler, Brother L, Dwayne, JT, Rockstar. Shout out, man, to everybody who just about their father's business, who on the ground for the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it is. Same thing, man. All glory and honor to God for just the opportunity to sit down and talk with you, Mr. Carter, on this, you know what I'm saying, on this subject, because it's a very broad subject in itself, man. It's something that we all need to sit down and reason with each other about it. So, much love.
Hey, no doubt. Well, Grateful Saints of God, thank you for coming. They're about to head on out. This is the Carter Morning Show. This is your boy Travis James, about to hit you with some more music right about now.